to the moment we've all been waiting for, the video we've all been waiting for. Me actually cooking something instead of just talking the whole time. Do not try this at home. If there's any noises, I think my neighbors are doing something outside with like cutting down stuff or mowing. It's been going all morning. All morning, people. That's okay. So that's what the weird noise are. And also my floors are creaky. So the first thing I'm going to bake is a vanilla cake, and I'm going to use an online recipe. So let's get into the recipe and how I found it. I'm using an online recipe from Recipe 10 Eats. I found this one by just searching up like vanilla cake recipe, and I looked through a couple and just looked through like what resources I had at home and how they compared to it, and like what I have access to and how I'd be able to work with the recipe. And this one was the one that fit best with like ingredients and just baking in general. First things first, we're going to grab our ingredients and our utensils. We need to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. I need to grab out 2 cake pans. This recipe says 20cm ones, but I'm just going to see what we have and we can make more or less depending. Do not try this at home. Probably get yourself like an actual ladder, not a wooden stool. I'm going to use this bigger pan, which is like 21cm, and then these 2 smaller ones, which is like 17-inch, and then hopefully make a little stack thing. I'm also going to be doing a chocolate cake, and I think I'm going to do like a chocolate vanilla layered cake. Also for wastage reasons, I'm going to be bringing this cake to my friend's bonfire on Saturday. So excited. Which will also be a good opportunity to get some feedback from them of how I could like change up the recipe or like try something different. Now I need to line and grease our pans, and I actually found a like held eyeliner round cake pan video from the exact same website, like from Recipe 10 Eats on their YouTube account, which is perfect. It's like all linked together. The first step is to whisk flour, salt and baking powder in a large bowl. Make sure to level it out. 1. That was close. Now, baking powder, we need 2.5 teaspoons. And then salt, it says 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to do a couple cracks. Do you guys know that blue shirt dancing guy trend thing? This thing? Yeah. That's called a whisk, and that's what we're going to do right now. The next step is to beat the eggs, sugar and butter together. I'm just going to measure everything out first. So I just measured out the butter. Now the first step before combining them all together is aerating the eggs by beating them for 30 seconds. So let's do that. I don't think I've ever aerated eggs before, so let's just see how this goes. I also just measured out the sugar because we're going to like pour in the sugar while we're beating the eggs. After 8 minutes of beating, I then had to add the flour mixture to the egg mixture and beat that together. Whilst I was doing this, I got my sister to melt the butter and the milk in a heat-proof jug in the microwave for 2 minutes and get that ready for the next step. This next step, I got the vanilla and vegetable oil and did 3 teaspoons of each into the bowl, while my sister poured the hot milk and butter mixture into the bowl, and we combined that all together. After combining, it then said to add a couple ladles of the egg and flour mixture to it to lighten it up. Got my sister to help because in the recipe they ended up having a stand mixer, and I don't have a stand mixer. I had a hand beater. I couldn't do 2 of the things at once. So we got my sister here. She's whisking while we add this egg flour mixture into the hot milk butter. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the beater back on and pour the milk mixture into the egg batter. Everyone say bye to my sister because she's going now.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, so now it's the final mix part. So we're just gonna get our scraper and scrape down the sides of the bowl and then just beat again and make sure everything's combined. So just gonna. Oh my gosh, this looks actually really good. Like, it's so smooth. Very, very nice. I'm excited. There is a kettle boiling in the back. My sister got her braces on Tuesday. So she's making herself some noodles because she can't eat. She can't eat very hard food, so yeah. But our next step is pouring it into our pans, and this looks actually delectable. I just put the cakes in the oven and they're going to be in there for half an hour. I ended up being able to use, I thought it was only going to fit in there. Then my mum comes out and she's like, you should probably not be filling it up that high. And I was like, oh. So I ended up being able to use one of those. Because I was able to use one of the pink tins as well, I'm thinking if the chocolate cake makes the same amount, which I'm hoping it will be because the chocolate cake recipe is from the same lady. So maybe we can do like one small chocolate cake and then the same size chocolate cake thing and do like a little layer thing. So, yeah. Made myself some lunch while the cake is in the oven. Some pasta. I didn't really make it. It was literally just leftovers from last night, but I warmed it up in the microwave. Anyway, I'm gonna rate that baking experience like an 8. It was actually pretty fun. And there was lots of things that I've never done before in that recipe. Like, it ended up being really fancy. There was like aerating the eggs, which I've never done before, like never. Which you had to like beat the eggs and then basically like you're making a meringue, like beat them and then slowly add the sugar and it turns like this foamy white mixture. And then even the butter part, like I had to melt the butter and the milk together and then do vanilla and oil in a separate bowl and then mix it and then add it to the egg mixture and then the flour mixture. There was lots of mixtures, lots of things I haven't tried before, and I'm gonna rate it an 8 mainly because I was using a hand beater and the recipe was using a stand mixer, and there was one part where I had to like do 2 things at once and I was actually beating the thing and I like called my sister to come help me. She just was holding the beater for me so I could go do another step, because yeah. But other than that, it was actually pretty good and it looked very fancy. The recipe was fancy and it looked very nice when I put it in the oven, so I'm excited and I'm hopefully it's good. I want it to be good. And hopefully the chocolate cake is equally as good. I'm gonna do that one when the vanilla is done in the oven.
And just like that, the cake was ready.
Fresh out the oven. Oh yeah. Alrighty, the cakes are out of the oven. So excited, they look pretty good. I reckon the smaller one probably could have been in there for a bit less time. It's not like burnt, but I think it could have been in there for a bit less time. So gotta remember that for next time. But they look so good and the kitchen smells delicious. So the next thing on the recipe is pretty much just leaving them to sit for 15 minutes in the pan, and then I'm gonna get the cooling rack out and let them sit on the cooling rack. I'm not gonna do any of the frosting today because obviously I'm bringing these to my friend's house on Saturday, which today is Thursday, so it's got a bit of time. So we're just gonna wrap them up, freeze them, and then I'll bake the chocolate cake after this, do the same, and then tomorrow I'll stack them all and decorate them, and we'll test my current icing skills for the next buttercream videos. The smaller cake actually ended up kind of being really thin, so I've decided to just change what I'm bringing to the bonfire just to be the big vanilla cake and the big chocolate cake like on top of each other, and just do that instead of those and just keep the thin one for like a little taste test, because Yeah, it's kind of thin. I'll show you. I don't know what I did that would make it be so like, they're quite flat. So I need to learn what made that happen. Because the small cake was kind of a fail, we're gonna like ice it and just give it to my family and see what they think of it and just give it a little try. So this is the current buttercream recipe that I usually use, that I just done myself. When I do like my buttercream step, I'm gonna try like a different recipe and see if it's any better. I'm just gonna use this one as like a practice test to practice some designs for the cake for Saturday, and then yeah, just like have a try of it. I reckon I'm gonna have to try making a different recipe because they both turned out pretty flat, which is annoying for when you're trying to do a big cake. So we'll see how it tastes and then see if there's anything I need to change, because yeah, this isn't a fail, but I wouldn't say it's like the best, but I don't know what I did wrong because I followed the recipe exactly. So I'm gonna go back through the recipe and check like anything that I might have missed, and otherwise I might have to do a new recipe, or yeah, but that's okay because this whole process is about learning how to do it, so we're allowed to fail. I'm just gonna go wash my hands. I did run out of icing a bit at the end, but this is what it looks like. Don't want it to fall, but it looks okay for like my first time trying with it. It's pretty good, I think. So yeah, not sure yet if I'll need to try a different cake recipe. It's my first time ever trying that one, so might have to change it. See how it tastes, and might have to do the chocolate cake in a different video because we actually don't have any bicarb soda. I thought we did. My dad's buying me some, so that might come in a later video. I decorated it with some little pink sprinkles, and I'm gonna get my family to try it. Cheers to my first, maybe fail, maybe not fail. I don't think it's a fail. I think it was a learning curve. So cheers to my first ever cake on this series. Yay! Now let's get some feedback on this. Cheers. If you guys remember in my last video, I said this: even if I fail, I'm gonna edit it to look aesthetic anyway. Which is exactly kind of what I did here. Not editing, but it was a fail and I made it look aesthetic anyway. The verdict from my family and myself, oh, that one's falling a little bit, was that the cake wasn't very sweet and they both turned out very flat, which I'm still gonna use the bigger cake at my friend's bonfire because I don't want to waste it. It will have a chocolate on the top. I'm not going to do the chocolate cake today because obviously I need to buy another ingredient and stuff. And I might find, I was going to use a recipe from the same website, the same lady, for the chocolate cake, but I don't think I'm going to anymore based on what this one turned out as, because I want something a bit more, I don't know, I feel like if this one turned out like this, then like I don't want to, yeah, that one might turn out bad as well. So yeah, I'm still gonna use that other one. Yeah, but the verdict was this, the texture is like more bready, I would say, over like cake, and I don't know if that's just because it was like a bit overcooked because it's a smaller one, or if that was just it. And it's barely sweet. Like, I'm not one who likes overly sweet cakes, but it's like barely sweet, and it's just not the best. It's like there were so many extra steps in that recipe that I feel like the cake box still tastes better, and there were so many extra steps, and it's like, was all the extra steps really worth it for this? It's not a cake you really go, wow, that was really, like, that was the best vanilla cake I've ever had. And I'm trying to get a good vanilla cake, so I'm gonna try and find a different recipe online see what I think of that one and then see how it goes from there. Anyways guys, thank you for coming along with me on this kind of a fail first cake of the series video, and in a couple days I'll do a chocolate cake, and then after that I'll try and do another vanilla cake recipe. I'll try and find a different one. Anyways, bye.